Hello and welcome to Let the Fans Talk, our weekly NFL podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Freeman.
Woo!
And I am here with...
I'm Kian Ibanez. I watch a little bit of football, but only a certain team.
Yeah, I'm an NFL nerd, so I watch...
No, it's cool. When we start out with these, have you been watching football all of your life then?
I've been watching it since, I think I was around 4 or 5 when I started watching football. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's when I got into it.
That's basically all of your life.
Yeah, I was really young when I started watching the NFL.
My dad forced me into liking sports when I was a kid. I like college ball a lot more than I do. I like college ball in general. Personally, I like college ball in general.
Yeah. For
anything. I like college football. But I think I might like the NFL a little bit more than college ball.
I like the NFL more just because, I don't know, college is kind of entertaining to watch because it's really high scoring. But at the same time, I hate watching how sloppy they are.
Yeah, because
college.
they're young. Yeah, they're young. And
yeah.
For me though, we probably won't do an NBA style of this, but I'll be doing an NCAA one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want for basketball. For basketball, not football.
Maybe. I don't think I watch enough basketball.
I watch a lot of now that I actually have cable, I'll actually start watching more basketball games and shit. So that'll be a thing.
Yeah.
So, before we go into any of your news, who's your favorite team, Ryan?
The Packers are my team. I love me some Green Bay Packers.
I had no clue.
Yeah, my room isn't decked out in
No,
Packers
not at all. It's not we'll probably start having a Twitter too, and if Ryan's on the Twitter bitching about the Packers, you know that's him and not me, because y'all gonna make fun of my team because it's a shit team and it's been a shit team for a very, very long time. I really like the Raiders.
They're good though now.
They are. Did they move to Vegas yet, or are they still?
No, that's next year that they're moving to Vegas.
I really like the Raiders, and I was really rooting for the Panthers a couple years back.
I got no problem with the Raiders. I'm a big Derek Carr fan. I like Derek Carr. He reminds me a lot of Brett Favre, which is why I like him.
That's good. So I know I've done this conversation with people about LeBron and Jordan. For you, who is the superior QB, Favre or Rodgers?
Favre.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people argue with me on that because they're just well, Aaron Rodgers has a better touchdown to interception ratio than Favre and a better passing rating and stuff like that. And I'm just yeah, but the thing is the league is built to pass now. When Brett Favre was in the league and he was putting up all those ridiculous numbers that he had, it wasn't a passing league. It was a ground and pound league. And you'd have about nowadays you have 3 to 4 good receivers on your team. Back in the day, you had 1, maybe 2 top receivers on your team. So the fact that Brett Favre was able to do that when the league wasn't really a passing league, I think that puts him above Aaron Rodgers in my book. And I think Brett Favre, when you look at the stats, he just has the clutch gene more than Aaron Rodgers does.
Mm-hmm.
He led way more fourth quarter comebacks than Aaron Rodgers has. Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback if you're down in the fourth quarter, but I don't think I'd trust him nearly as much as Brett Favre for a game-winning drive. Brett Favre just had that clutch gene.
Dude, that's totally understandable. I know a lot of people are gonna give me shit for always saying this, but I understand that the Patriots cheated a couple years back, and I get that. But I don't know. I was looking at your fucking thing that you were talking about, the top 5 fucking QBs.
Oh yeah, the list of top 5 QBs.
I still think Brady is a really good quarterback. I know what other people have said.
No, I wasn't. I put Brady at number 2. Behind Joe Montana, not because of the cheating things. I really could give a shit less about Deflategate because
it was bullshit.
Every quarterback after that came out and said yeah, we all mess with the balls to get them the way we like them.
Yeah, exactly. And so
also I don't think that gives you that much of a competitive advantage because just because you deflate the ball doesn't mean you're automatically gonna play well. The other team
could still sack the shit out of you.
Yeah, like I don't think it was that big of a deal. Like I don't think Brady should have gotten suspended for it, and I don't think it was that big of a competitive advantage. Like he deflated the fucking balls.
Like it fucking mattered anyways. They won last year.
Yeah.
So like. No, like, and I saw...
I mean, they put up, like, the Patriots in that game where they got caught, they put up, like, 40 points up.
Yeah.
Like, that just shows that the other team's defense is shit. Like,
right.
That has nothing to do with a deflated ball.
I mean, like, literally, that's what I kind of, like, meant. Because, like, I was watching I remember, it was in high school. Like, I think I was a sophomore when they did 60 Minutes, did a thing on the Patriots. And holy shit. Their training camp, like, they may not be friends outside of work, but, like, for their training camp, they work like a well-oiled machine. And that's where I have to, like, as much as, like, everyone is on the bandwagon for the Patriots, and I don't personally like the Patriots a lot, but I can at least respect that they do put in their work, though.
No, they do a really good job. They have this is the reason why I put Brady behind Joe Montana.
So what was your list?
Time. It was number 1, Joe Montana, 2, Tom Brady, 3, Steve Young, 4, Brett Favre, 5, Peyton Manning.
See, that's understandable. Like, I totally get that one a lot.
But the reason I put Brady behind Joe Montana is because Joe Montana did have those 4 Super Bowls. Brady has 5 now, obviously, but Joe Montana commanded those Super Bowls much better than Brady did.
Right.
Brady, like... I'm not taking away his skill because Brady is a very talented quarterback. He's the best modern quarterback.
Right.
Since he came into the league, he's been the best one.
So like since 2003.
Something.
Is it?
I can't remember exactly when Brady came in.
Right.
It was during the 2000s, I think, though. And but there is a lot of luck involved with Brady's success in the playoffs and Super Bowls. I mean, going back, like, the Oakland game, the Tuck rule.
Right.
That's lucky.
Right.
That was... Raiders should have won that game. That was a fumble.
Right.
But because of that Tuck rule, Patriots go on to win it.
Right. So
Adam Vinatieri, if he doesn't make those field goals, Patriots have 2 less Super Bowls on their resume.
Right. Exactly, like, and so that's where I stand. Like, they've had numerous Super Bowl shots, and I think they've only, with Brady on there, they've only lost 2, and that's been both against the Giants.
That's both against the Giants and Eli Manning.
Right. So, I mean...
Which, granted, those were luck, too. Patriots should have won both of those Super Bowls, in my opinion.
I was going to say they should have won the last one they faced against the Giants.
They should have won the first one, too. That was... The helmet catch was the luckiest fucking catch I've ever seen in my life. Especially with Eli Manning, just doing the Eli Manning, which is just chucking it up there and hoping somebody comes down with the ball.
I hope someone catches it.
Which, like, I remember when everybody was like, oh, Eli Manning's a top 5 quarterback for sure. After winning those Super Bowls, I was like, he's the most inconsistent quarterback in the league. He'll be a top 5 quarterback one week, and then he'll be like a top 20 quarterback next week.
But that's the thing, like, it's... The Patriots' success, though, isn't just because of Tom Brady, and I have to continuously say that. Like,
well, that's another reason why I put Tom Brady below Joe Montana is because Tom Brady has been blessed with not only one of the best coaching staffs ever.
Oh, Billy B,
throughout his entire career, but also, you look at the division Tom Brady plays in, he has a free ride to the playoffs every goddamn year.
Right.
Because the rest of the teams in that division are shit.
Like, you got the Bills.
And then, on top of that, with the coaching in New England, if Brady goes somewhere else, I don't know if he still has the success that he has. Joe Montana proved that he didn't need to be on the 49ers to be successful. He went to Kansas City for 2 years, had 2 really good years in Kansas City, proved that he was still one of the top quarterbacks, even not being on the team that he was for most of his career.
Oh, right, exactly. See, and that's the thing that, like, you don't really know until he's not in the Patriots anymore.
Yeah, but we'll never know about that because he's obviously going to retire as a Patriot at this point.
Oh, exactly,
So,
dude. He's been there for like almost a decade now.
Yeah.
So, and Manning, you got to give Manning some credit though for.
I do give Manning credit, but I mean,
Peyton, not Eli, Peyton.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
we were talking about Eli.
I know who you're talking about.
I know, but we were talking about Eli,
Yeah,
and it's just like the listeners. I don't want them to think, oh, you guys fucking like Eli. I'm like, I like his skits.
I know. I think it was USA Today that ranked Peyton as number 2 for all-time greatest quarterbacks. I put him at 5 just because you look at Peyton Manning in the playoffs. Not that impressive.
No.
He would get to the postseason, and most of the time it'd be, oh, Colts made it to the postseason. Watch him choke. Watch Manning throw like 3 interceptions against the Patriots.
Right.
Which is why I put Manning at number 5.
Right. Which is like.
And the year he won the Super Bowl with the Broncos, by all means, I mean, at the time, not anymore, Brock Osweiler should have been the starter going into the playoffs for Denver. He straight up outplayed Peyton Manning that season.
Oh yeah, you
could just see the wear and tear on Peyton that season. He just could not throw the ball anymore.
It was his fucking last season, and
yeah,
you got to admit, like once you've reached that, like kickers are the only ones who can play after 40.
Peyton Manning rode that Denver defense so hard.
Right.
So hard.
Like if that's another combination of things when you look at like what makes a good team. Like everybody always talks about the quarterback and wide receivers. Rarely do I hear people saying like, "Look at that guy's defense."
I always I'm very impressed by defenses, mostly because I like watching defense more than I like watching offense because I love big hits.
Right.
But I mean, when you look at that, defense is a key part of a team. Because look at, like, I'm going to throw my boys under the bus here, but look at the Packers. Aaron Rodgers should have at least 2 more Super Bowls by this point in his career. But because they've had such an inconsistent defense, they had a good defense for that one wild card run they made in 2010 when they won the Super Bowl. After that, their defense just kind of shut off, and they haven't had a good defense since that. I mean, it's kind of hard to win when your defense is letting the other team put up 30 points consistently on them.
And that's the thing. Like, you have to look at it both. You can't just say like offense is the only thing or defense. It's a combination of both. Mm-hmm. And so like when I hear people talk about that shit, it's just like, yeah, the QB is like an important person, so like it's easy to talk shit about someone's QB, but you got to be like, the other team's defense fucking plowed through their the line to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a team sport, so you gotta look at everything.
Right.
You can't just focus on one position.
So what's like the big news you were talking about to me? You were texting me about this.
So the NFL just dropped the hammer on Ezekiel Elliott and suspended him for 6 games.
And?
For the start of the season.
Because of?
There was allegations of domestic abuse against Ezekiel Elliott.
Alright.
And, I don't know, this suspension, it left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth.
And why's that?
Because I don't like the NFL and the NFL being Roger Goodell. Being able to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Aye.
Because in the investigation, I might have to read up some more on it, but I don't think there was enough to convict Ezekiel Elliott of anything. So I don't think they should be dropping punishments based on allegations.
See, okay, so from what I read, it sounded like it was a thing. So this is still allegations?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I think that...
Yeah. To my knowledge, I don't think he's been charged with anything.
Okay, see, and to that notion, I think that is bullshit. Like, that's total bullshit.
I mean, there is that video of Ezekiel Elliott, like, from St. Patty's Day when he got into a physical altercation with a woman, but... it could be just blowback from that. I think this is mostly just...
But you would think he would have gotten that. No, because if it was St. Patty's Day, there was no. Never mind, forget it.
I think this is mostly a result of the NFL's image, I think. Because they've been trying so hard for a long time now to clean up their image, because they've had a huge image problem for the past, 5 or so years. With
Dude, how many people have beat their fucking wives?
Yeah,
just take a moment.
Yeah, with all the domestic abuse that's come out from the NFL. So I think this is just blowback from that, and I think they're just jumping ahead of this. Because Ezekiel Elliott, one of the big questions about him coming out of college was his behavior. So I think this is just them jumping out in front of it and just being like, listen, if you try to pull any of that, we're going to come down on you.
Yeah, but it's 6 games, though. That's the thing that I think is a little, that's a little excessive.
And, I don't like it because it's...
And these aren't preseason games, right? These are, games.
This is games. This is regular season games.
See, and that's the thing that gets me on that one. It's I get it, 100%, it's fun, no one should be beating anybody, your significant other, 100% get that, but if it's just allegations,
then
one game.
I don't think they should be able to do anything with just allegations. I think it should be cut and dry, he did it, suspend him.
Maybe, put him on the bench, Yeah,
but...
Not,
one of the things that bothers me the most about this is it's going to be that effect of... every team likes to say, it doesn't matter, next man up mentality. There's only a few teams in the NFL that rings true for, though. And granted, Cowboys do have a pretty solid backup running back in McFadden, but he's not the beast that Ezekiel Elliott is. He's not the game changer that Ezekiel Elliott is. And on top of that, McFadden has also had the injury bug throughout his entire career. So if he gets hurt during this 6-game span, then what do the Cowboys do? They're gonna have to put it on the shoulders of Dak Prescott, which up until this point, not taking anything away from Dak Prescott because he had an amazing rookie season, especially for a quarterback, the way he performed. But during that season, he was just a game manager quarterback. If Dak Prescott's having to throw the ball up 35, 40 times a game, I don't know if he has the success that he had his rookie season. Especially if that sophomore slump kicks in, which a lot of the time it does. But, the reason I don't like it is because it's the effect to whenever Adrian Peterson was out for the Vikings, and the Packers would beat the Vikings without Peterson. It was always kind of a hollow victory as a sports fan watching that because their star player is out. So you feel like
this is when he switched on his kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you feel like you won, but it doesn't give you the satisfaction that you wanted because they're not going up against their star player and proving that they can outplay them. So when I'm watching the Cowboys this season and other teams are beating the Cowboys, if that happens, I don't know if it will. Cowboys are still a solid team without Ezekiel, but
it does bring them down.
It brings it down a peg. As a sports fan, you want their star players to be out there. That's what makes for good football. That's what makes for the most entertaining game. You want those close games.
Right.
Nobody likes watching a blowout.
Right. And you see, but with this kind of scenario, it sucks because if it is what happened, that's shitty. That's shitty anyways.
Yeah.
Which,
we'll see. I think they're still investigating it. So, there could be charges brought forward, but to my knowledge, there hasn't been any so far.
Yeah, the NFL has just had some shit luck with their players doing shitty things.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez. But, no, for real, though, when you think about it, when that Adrian Peterson story came out, what was it, 3 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
I got on it. I was on the opposing side of his suspension, and people called me a fucking asshole. And I'm like, alright, there's a difference between, beating your kid and then, switching him. You know what I mean? Don't do that kind of thing. And from what it sounded like, from the news articles I got, he wasn't fuck you, son. He was just like, hey, don't do that shit. You know what I mean? But then you have to go back and look at, like, people like Ray Rice and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
Like,
There's
fucking video of him punching his...
Yeah, that video of him in the elevator was something, that was pretty bad.
That really tainted, like, for me, for a while, that tainted the NFL. And
yeah.
There's always some sort of controversy going on in the NFL, whether it be beating your wife, fucking getting belligerently drunk. Like, I think one of my things on the NFL is, like, as shitty as it sounds, I'm one of those people where, like, if it's marijuana and they get suspended, like, I get a game. But, like, sometimes they're out for, like, I'm like, for what? Just an ounce of pot and shit like that? Like, there's a lot of those things. But, like, I don't know. I don't think you should be able to do it on allegations, though. Like, that, if it's allegations, I think that's horseshit. I think you should get a talking to, and I think that he shouldn't be able to play, you know.
I think, if anything, it should be a 1 to 2 game suspension.
Right.
If they're going to do
6
anything.
is a little excessive if you don't know what happened.
Especially, the reason this bugs me so much is because, like, 6 games is not a, like, little deal. That's, like, a big deal to be out for 6 games.
Yeah, that's like
because within that 6-game span, if your season starts off to shit and you miss the playoffs because of that 6 games, like, if they lose, say, like, 3 or 4 games in that span when he's not there.
Dude, they're gonna...
And Ezekiel Elliott comes back and they end up winning out, but they miss the playoffs because those losses that they got while he was out. I mean...
There's a trade coming.
I'd be hella pissed if I was a Cowboys fan.
Right. See, and I think that's the thing, like... I mean, we have other news, like Jesse kept giving shit to Luis about Jay Cutler going to the fucking Dolphins.
Yeah, Jay Cutler to the Dolphins. I mean, a lot of people, like, are just like, why would you take Jay Cutler? To be fair to them, Jay Cutler has worked with that coach before.
Right.
And he brought Jay Cutler his most successful season in the NFL, where he only threw 11 interceptions in that season. He actually had a pretty good year that year under him, so that's a good combination right there, and that's... The pickup there makes sense.
Right, like, give him a chance, I guess, you know what I mean? Like I know that he's had, like, shit years with the Bears.
I mean, like, everybody gets on and rags on Jay Cutler because they're just like, oh, he doesn't care and stuff like that. I like Jay Cutler.
He seems like a nice dude, like...
I don't know. I almost really like that, like, I really don't care attitude that he has. He's so indifferent about anything and everything, and I find it so entertaining.
I'm assuming it's because it's just like fucking you. You're like, oh, whatever.
I mean, I'd be indifferent about everything if I played for the fucking Bears, too, because everybody in that division is just going to roll over us.
Yeah.
Poor Jay. Jay's a Bears fan. He gets to watch my Packers steamroll them every year.
I'm going to put air quotes on that.
Yeah, Jay doesn't really watch football all that much.
Jay doesn't really watch sports unless it's baseball. Jay picks the most boring sport to get into.
Yeah.
The fucking Star Trek of sports is baseball.
Yeah.
So, I guess because we don't have really a lot of major news stories and it's the preseason. We're just going to do predictions.
Yeah, we're going to do predictions for who we think are going to win the divisions. So
this is going to be fun because I already know a few of them.
No. So we're going to start out with the AFC East, which is the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. I don't think anybody has any question in their mind that the New England Patriots are just going to rock this division again.
I don't know, man. Do you say the Dolphins are in that division?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. With Jay Cutler on there, like, they could totally one up the Patriots.
I don't see the Dolphins winning the division. I could see them making a wild card spot, though. Especially with Jay Ajayi, if he pulls off another good year. He was a breakout running back last year, and he's insanely fast, and he can break off some huge runs. So if he keeps that up, I could see Dolphins easily picking up a wild card spot if they continue to play at that level.
But if anyone, like, Jesse, I know you're going to listen to this because you like football and you want to be part of this, but, like, I know you like the Jets. They're your favorite-ass fucking team. They have no shot. I'm sorry.
Jets are so bad. Jets are one of those teams that's in, like, the rebuilding stages.
Right.
Like, hardcore.
Like,
so,
dude, I get that you're going to be like, fuck you for liking the Patriots. But like, dude, look at the stats. Look at it. Look at them.
Remember when everybody thought that Geno Smith was gonna be the next Jet starter?
Sorry, like boys, like anyone who is like you got to admit, anytime you say like the Patriots are gonna win, everyone's like, "Whoa, that's because they cheat and shit like that." You're just like, nah.
No, it's because they're a well-oiled machine
Yeah.
and they're just monsters every year.
Right, like you have the Gronk, dude.
Like my prediction right now is Patriots are at least going to get to the AFC Championship game this year.
Oh, fucking course so, dude. Like,
I think for the AFC, it's going to be Oakland and New England in the AFC Championship game. I think Oakland edges it out and makes it to the Super Bowl for the first time in a long time.
dude, I would be so stoked.
Especially, we'll get to that because I think their division's up next, which is the AFC West. Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, San Diego Chargers, Oakland Raiders.
Dude, it's the Raiders.
It's the Raiders all the way.
Like,
especially, I love that pickup on Marshawn Lynch that they made during the offseason.
oh yeah.
Like, you don't like to say that one person on the team is going to be the game changer. Marshawn Lynch is that kind of player.
It's Marshawn fucking Lynch,
he
man.
puts the team on his fucking back. Like, he's been out of the league for, I think,
1 year?
2 years, maybe?
One or two.
But if he comes back at the same level he was playing as before and gives Derek Carr a huge run game, look, I mean, Oakland Raiders are going to be dangerous this year, especially with that defense. I mean, Khalil Mack, dude's a monster. I just really like the Raiders this year.
Dude, I don't know. There's always been my favorite. Like, I think the reason why I like the Raiders is sound really fucked up. My dad used to watch like the 30 by 30s, and like back in the day, like the Oakland Raiders were one of the only teams where the dudes would just at the sideline be smoking cigarettes before they jump in. They're like, "All right, fuck it, let's do it."
This is the reason why I think the Raiders are going to win the division is going back to how this is a team sport. They're good on both sides of the ball. They have a really explosive offense. They have a really stout defense. I would say Kansas City Chiefs have a shot if they had a better offense. I mean, they're so...
Dude,
they're such a dink and dunk offense.
Right.
Like,
Kansas City has always been that team where like they could, but they never had that extra like give. Though.
Yeah, I think if they had... Which, don't get me wrong, I like Alex Smith a lot. He's a really good game manager quarterback. He's always been one of my more favorite quarterbacks in the league. But if they had a quarterback that was a step above Alex Smith, I think that would put them at that next level. To where
that little extra shove.
To where they can make that push for the division.
Right. Which you never know.
Because their defense is solid every year.
Oh, shit, yeah. Like, unfortunately, like, I don't have anything with the Broncos. Like,
Well, I mean, Denver Broncos, that offense is still just a huge question mark.
Right.
So maybe, I don't know, if their offense gets rolling this year, they're going to be right in it with Oakland. Mm-hmm. But that offense is just too big of a question mark for me to, like, give that to them.
But it's always been like, it's been like that for a while, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, the first, Peyton Manning until his last year there, that offense was outstanding.
Right.
A really good offense.
But afterwards, it just kind of...
Peyton Manning's last year and then this past year, that offense has just been terrible. Next division is going to be the AFC North, which is the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dude, it's the Steelers. All the other teams are kind of like shit.
I like the Steelers. I would like the Bengals and Ravens, but they're just one of those teams that's like too inconsistent.
Yeah, that's
like they show like glimpses here and there of like, we can do this, and then they just kind of go away the next week.
Ray Lewis. You don't like the Browns? Whoa, bro. What about them Browns?
Oh yeah, I love the Browns.
The Browns are like, this is gonna be their year. Do you know how many I have a friend who is a fucking Cleveland Browns fan, and every fucking year he's like, "Hey man, this is gonna be their year. This is gonna be their year."
I think the Browns will get
fucking wrong.
I think the Browns will get 2 wins this year.
Because what, the Lions?
God, they're so bad.
Dude, like that's like, Ah, man.
Especially because they have Brock Osweiler now. Like, who wants him to be their starting quarterback going into the season?
That's my thing. Like,
And I think his first pass in the preseason was a pick six, which is fitting.
bro, when you bring that up, when you brought that division up, I'm like, I can't root for. I want to root for the Bengals, but I'm like, they have always been really like. I'm just like.
I don't think Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton's a solid quarterback. I don't think he has that great factor to him.
Nah. So it's Pittsburgh, man. I'm sorry. Like,
It's Pittsburgh because they're the only team that can win on a consistent basis.
yeah.
That's the only thing about
Yeah.
them. AFC South, which I am going to make a surprising pick for. The Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going with the Titans. I like them. They're an up-and-coming team. Their offense just keeps getting better. Marcus Mariota's taking... I was a huge Marcus Mariota doubter when he entered the league. I thought he was going to be another Robert Griffin III, where he's just a huge bust. Because that Oregon offense is not suited for somebody entering the NFL. It's a very throw the ball up to a receiver that's just running straight down the sideline.
Right.
So he never really had to make tough reads or anything in college. He has proven me wrong. He's making really good strides as an NFL quarterback. I like his arm strength and I like his accuracy. And that Tennessee defense is just getting more and more solid as they go on. And they're just one of those young teams that's learning how to win right now.
Right.
I think it's the only reason they've been like... That's the only reason they were 8-8 last year is because they couldn't close out games. I think just getting that extra year of experience under their belts, I think they're going to be even better this year, and I think they're going to win that division.
I don't know, because like I have no fight for those kind of guys. Like those four teams to me are like they're under my radar. Unfortunately, like I never have paid attention to the Jaguars. Never paid attention.
Jaguars are bad.
Right.
They took a chance on Blake Bortles, and he's just been a miss so far.
And then the Colts, I'm just like,
And they keep waiting for that young talent on the Jacksonville Jaguars to finally make that next step, and they just never have.
Nah,
I think it's just another bust. I think it's between the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans.
That was gonna be my thing. Like the only one I could think of is like I think the Texans might, because Indianapolis to me has felt so lackluster. In these past years they have. You can't tell me that.
No, I'm not going with that. I was gonna say like I would like the Indianapolis Colts if that offensive line wasn't such a big question mark for them, but they're shit every year.
Yeah.
And Andy Dalton just gets the piss pounded out of him. Like, hats off to that kid for standing in there, because he just gets beat to death.
Like we were talking about that team sport, like they don't have a full team.
Yeah.
They have a no. So I'll just throw my hat and I'll say the Texans.
All right, yeah. I mean, I could. It's gonna be between the Titans and the Texans for sure.
Because the Texans, like, they're not like amazing.
I guess we'll see. I don't know who their starter is gonna be, but I'm assuming it's gonna be Deshaun Watson out of Clemson. So we'll see how he does. If he does well, then maybe. Now moving on to the NFC. Going NFC East with the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Redskins. This division is always a toss-up. And Giants did add, was it Brandon Marshall that they added for wide receivers?
Yeah, I think so.
It is.
Hold on.
I mean, it's gonna be between. I mean, this division's always so competitive. Because the Redskins.
Brandon Marshall, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because the Redskins can always hang in there with the other teams. The Eagles are another team that's always competitive. The Giants are always competitive. The Cowboys were just monsters last year. So
I'm giving my toss up to the Cowboys.
I mean,
I know we were talking about Ezekiel.
I want to give it to the I want to give it to the Cowboys, but they lost a lot of guys from last year, and they lost. I think it was 2 or 3 of their offensive linemen from last year. So we'll see if that offensive line is as good as last year, because they were the best offensive line in football last year. So if they're that good again,
I'm gonna give it.
Maybe
I'm gonna give mine to the Cowboys, but my secondary will be the Giants.
I'm going to give a slight advantage to the Cowboys, and I think that the rest of the division's a toss-up between the rest of the three.
Mine is
just because Eli Manning's so goddamn inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how many interceptions he's going to throw in a game and give the other team a chance, so.
Oh, no. Boy, you had a chance, Eli. You tried to shine, but you still sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, moving on to the NFC West, we have the Arizona Cardinals, the St. Louis Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I say they have a bounce-back year from last year, and I think they win it.
These are, again, other teams I don't pay attention to. I
mean, Seattle's solid every year.
Yes.
But I think that secondary that Seattle had, the old Legion of Boom, just isn't what it used to be.
Nah, they're old as shit now.
And their offense is in decline too.
Right.
Slowly, like not majorly, but you can see it coming where Seattle's just starting to hit that downhill slope on them right now.
I guess I would had to have gone. I'm just gonna go with Seattle. Like I know I'm wrong.
I mean, Seattle's a safe pick. I think Seattle's a safer pick than the Cardinals.
Right. Like that's what I mean. Like I know I'm wrong. Like I always am when it comes to like fucking sports, because like I believe in like underdogs, which you shouldn't in football, because if you're an underdog, there is no way you're gonna win.
I mean, you never know what happens in football. They call it a week-to-week league, and for a reason. NFC North, my division: Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings. Packers.
Oh God, yeah. What are you?
Packers, because they're the only team that's been able to win consistently.
Yeah.
Since Aaron Rodgers has gotten there.
Right, alright, so yeah, that was my thing. I'm like, we are like 4 hours away from Minnesota, like from the Viking Stadium, and I've seen them play, and for me, they were shit that game. So,
well, I mean, Sam Bradford's still their starter, and I have no faith in Sam Bradford. Like, as long as he's the Vikings quarterback, I think that's just going to be more wins for the Packers against the Vikings. Which, because last year when they went on that 5-0 streak, and all the Vikings fans were going fucking nuts, like, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, how'd that
Which Vikings fans are the worst fans in the NFL. I'll say it right now. All you suck.
Oh boy, I think there's a
They're so douchey.
They are so douchey, but like, I don't know, Seattle fans proved to me that they were pretty douchey too, though.
Seattle fans are just a bunch of bandwagon fans, so they don't count. But
I
don't remember if you saw my status during that 5-0 run, where after they got their 5th win, I was like, yeah, remember last year when the Packers started off 5-0 and then we had that downhill slide? That's going to happen to you guys this year. And it did. Totally called it, because I said, and I quote, Sam Bradford is not that good. He's playing better than he actually is. One of these games, Sam Bradford's gonna start to look like Sam Bradford, and he did.
All right, see, and like with that in mind, like I always have to point that out. Like, y'all just keep like saying like the Midwest Division is shit. You can't tell me it's not.
No, it is. I think it's a division that it's always competitive between all the teams in that division, just
but
because
then you go up against
all of them are such strong rivalry games.
Right. But in the long run, if you're not from the Midwest and watch these games, they're kind of shit.
I mean, I don't know. I'd almost say that the NFC North is one of the more underrated divisions in the league.
And let's put air quotes in some of these rivalries, like the Bears versus the Vikings, all right? Like, rivalry.
Yeah.
It's not really a rivalry if every year you get your ass handed to you.
Bears beat Vikings last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was making fun of them for that. Because I posted that status, I was like, and the Bears, I was going to say, still suck, and I was like, are beating the Vikings?
Yeah, but no, when they're like, this is a big rivalry battle, like, when you and Jay are like, when you just talk shit to Jay about the Bears, he's like, oh, just you wait, it'll be your year. I'm like, homeboy, it's not going to be their year. Every time you say that,
but
someone tears their ACL.
But I mean, I like the Packers just because they're one of those few teams that if they do get injuries that have that next man up, they draft and develop really well.
Right. And that's the
not
thing.
only that, but Aaron Rodgers always gives them a chance to win. And I really liked their draft this year, adding Kevin King. I liked them getting Devon House in free agency. I liked the Josh Jones pick at safety. They just added some depth onto their defense, which was much needed. So if their defense is good this year, that just makes the Packers all the more dangerous. And a lot of people were saying that they think the Detroit Lions are going to be up there this year. I don't know. They're one of those teams that's just inconsistent week to week.
Oh, God, yeah. They go from, like, going, what? Winning no games one season, and then winning, like, half and half.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, and last year, at the end of the season, Detroit was in total control of the NFC North, and they should have won it by all means, and they totally choked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hardcore choked.
Right. So, I mean, I gotta, like, as much as I don't really, like I said, like, I only pay attention, I usually mostly pay attention to the AFC. So, like, for me, it's just, like, I gotta go with the Packers on this. Like, all the time, to me, they've stayed the most consistent team in that division, comparatively.
I mean, 8 straight trips to the playoffs. Like,
right, like...
I think they're tied with the Patriots for the most consecutive trips to the playoffs.
That's what I mean, like, because they're so consistent with their shit that, like, all the other teams just kind of, like, last year, like, Skull, like, fuck all y'all. You're like, you know what, as I sit in here, you're right. Vikings fans do suck. Because they, again, are those people, like, every year, like, oh, man, the Vikings are going to do it. I'm like, what proof? What proof do you have? Nothing.
I don't know, like, I respect the Vikings team. The only team that I truly hate in the NFC North is the Detroit Lions. That's the only team that I just despise in the NFC North. I like the Vikings as a team. I like some of their players that they have. I really like their safety. I think his name's Smith or something like that. One of the best safeties in the league, if not the best. He's a really fun player to watch, even if he's beating up on my Packers, which pisses me off. But I think the only thing that annoys me about the Vikings is even if they lose, if they see that the Packers lost, they'll still talk shit to me. I'm just like, bro, you lost too, and you're also behind us in the division, so...
Stop one night Max is talking shit to you about that on our podcast. I'm like, bro, this is really going to happen right now?
Well, that's what got me. Max was just like, I mean, the Vikings, like, beat you last year. I was like, yeah, one time. And then we came back later in the season and stomped your asses.
I'm just like... Dude, this is not a fight you're gonna win.
No, it was just like,
not a fight you're gonna win.
And what was the other thing I said to him? I was like, oh yeah, who's the team that consistently advances in the playoffs? Oh yeah, the Packers. Who's the team that always goes one and done? Oh yeah, the Vikings. If they even make it.
Bro, that's what I always take a look at. It's just like, we do have a lot of Vikings. Like, cause we live in
Viking territory.
Yeah, we live in Viking territory.
It's very hostile territory for a Packers fan. Wearing a Packer hoodie in this town, I get no love.
Wearing any kind of jersey that isn't purple and gold is like, y'all are fucking traitors. I'm like, I fuck you.
I will say, like, I do respect the Minnesota Vikings as an organization. I do not respect your fan base.
Yeah.
At all. The NFC South. This is going to be the biggest question mark division for me. The Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my god. It's hard.
I like the Panthers having a comeback year. Because I think there's always that 1 year after you lose the Super Bowl for a team. Teams do not like to admit it, but there is always a hangover from losing the Super Bowl. I think that's just a huge hit to their confidence, and it carries over into the next season. And we saw that with the Panthers this season because they went like, oh man, when did they go? Like 5-11 or something like that.
Year, dude.
I think that's going to happen to the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're going to have, which maybe not. The Falcons do have enough talent on their team to perform at a high level this year, but I don't know. Just looking at the history of the NFL, every team that loses the Super Bowl the previous year always comes back the next year and just has a shit season.
God, do you remember? This sounds fucking weird, but like, I think the memes are gonna get them this year.
Yeah.
All those fucking memes.
Dude, the internet is ruthless.
Yeah, that fucking day. That day. It wasn't even, the game wasn't even done yet and the memes were coming out. I'm like, yeah, the internet's a savage. Like, that's gotta get to them. Like, because everyone's still like, that loss is still relevant to the internet. Because people will still post shit like that.
And the only reason I don't want to give it to the Atlanta Falcons is because they lost Shanahan,
Yeah.
who is a well-known quarterback guru. And I've talked about this with Atlanta fans. I even brought this up to Chase, and he agreed with me. So it's not just me being biased against the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan's an overrated quarterback. He's super overrated. He had, not saying he didn't have an outstanding season last year. He did, but he also had Shanahan, who provided him with his best year, who's a very well-known quarterback guru. Everywhere he goes, he just has that magic touch on a quarterback where they just have a good year under him. And with him being gone, I want to see if Matt Ryan still performs at that level, which I just don't think he will. Everybody likes to call him Matty Ice. I call him Matty Inconsistent because that's what he is. Like, last year was the only time he's been consistent throughout an entire year, which, when you have that receiving core, especially when you have Julio motherfucking Jones, you should be consistent every year. Because he is, hands down, like, I'm going to give it to him. Julio Jones is the best receiver in the NFL. He has the size. Not only does he have size to block out defenders and make the catch, he has speed to just rip down the field. And they do have, I'd say, the best running back tandem in Devontae Freeman, and I forget the other guy's name, but both of them are just monsters at running back. The biggest question mark for me is going to be the defense, because I think they were the number one defense last year, but it's always hard to perform at that same level carrying through to the next year. So we'll see.
Alright, so I'm gonna...
If the Atlanta Falcons don't have that Super Bowl loss hangover, they win the division. If they do, I'm going to give it to the Carolina.
I was going to say, I'm going to give it to Carolina. Because I think that they learned.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And, I don't know, I really like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Cam's been one of my favorite players since he got into the league. I just like his... I don't know. I like the swagger that Cam Newton has.
He dresses like a Batman villain to me when he's in his press conferences.
Cam Newton has the best outfits ever.
Right.
I love seeing what he's going to wear in press conferences.
Like an African American Riddler one week, and he looks like a goddamn Joker the next.
I'm also really interested to see how Christian Michael out of Stanford will do. Mm-hmm. If he performs well, that could be huge for them.
Right. So mine is the Panthers. I think that they have a shot comparatively.
Yeah.
Comparatively to Atlanta. I know like people want Atlanta to bounce back after their amazing loss.
You know who would win if they had a good defense or an average defense? The New Orleans Saints.
Right.
Because that fucking offense is crazy every year with Drew Brees.
Yeah.
But that defense is just horrible.
See, I want to, like, honestly, that was the thing. I wanted to give it to the Saints, but I'm just like, nah, they have let me down every year when I put them in my fucking...
This is what I think is going to happen, because I was talking about this with Chase, too. I was like, remember when New Orleans won the Super Bowl, like, the year after Katrina or whatever? I was like... That was the nice feel-good story of the year where the Saints finally got the spotlight. And then after that, it was almost just like, all right, like, you had your time in the sun. Get back to the bottom of the barrel where you belong.
Go to the bayou. Go back to the bayou.
I feel like that's what's going to happen with the Falcons. Like, all right, you had your time in the spotlight. Get back where you belong.
Right.
Because the Falcons have historically just been a team that just chokes.
Right.
So.
There's a lot of Falcon fans here, too, though. Like
there is.
It's weird.
Randomly.
It's weird.
I don't know. I don't have nothing against the Falcons.
I don't either, but like, It's one of those things when like I fucking hate teams who have lost consistently and are just dick at the game. And they're like, oh man, this is gonna be their year. I was like, dude, alright, you have no proof.
Dude, one of my favorite memes ever. Man, I can't remember what it was. It's something like, if you haven't won a Super Bowl since 1992 and still talk shit, you're probably a 49ers fan.
Right. Oh yeah, they lost the time they were in the Super Bowl. They lost, didn't they?
I can't remember.
I thought they won.
No, they didn't.
No.
The last time they were in the Super Bowl, that was when Kaepernick first got the starting thing.
Oh shit, yeah, and they played the Ravens.
Lost to the Ravens.
Oh shit, that's right. Okay. Goddamn Reload. And that's it, right?
Yep, that's all the divisions.
Well,
there it is. I guess we could run through playoffs too.
Nah.
Or who our pick for the Super Bowl is gonna be. I got Packers Raiders in the Super Bowl.
I got.
Like, not being biased, like, I am biased because I'm a Packers fan, but I really do think that the defense is going to be improved this year. And if they can actually get turnovers and stops on the other side of the ball, Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to say anything because, like, every time I say shit, it's just not going to be right. Because, like, I have, like, in my head, I want the Raiders to go, but in my head, I'm just like, it's going to be New England again.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I really think Raiders are going to do it.
Right. Because I don't want New England to be in it again, but, like, it seems almost every year they have been consistently in it. You can't tell me that they haven't.
Yeah, they've been in it a lot.
So, like, I want it not to be New England, but I feel like New England's going to be in the Super Bowl.
New England is the equivalent of, do you remember, like, back in the day, like USC when they were in the national championship game, like every single goddamn year in the NCAA.
New England
That's
is
New
John.
England now.
For me, like, because I watch a lot more wrestling. New England is John Cena. Like, nah, for real. Like, super patriotic, fucking winning almost everything, and like people hate him because he wins. Like, that's New England. New England is John Cena. He's also from Boston, so it makes total sense.
I just think, I don't know, Oakland's one of those teams that I think if they met New England in the playoffs, they're one of those teams that can get pressure on Tom Brady and bring him down and get him to the ground.
Right.
And I think they can fluster Tom Brady.
Because that's the thing. If you can get him pissed, you have it in the bag.
Pressure rattles any quarterback.
Right.
Like, if you're getting sacked, like, or
no, but
just taking hits in general during the game.
Did you see, like, the first part of the Falcons game? That really got him.
Yeah.
That really fucking got him.
And Tom Brady came back with a vengeance. But to be fair, Patriots, and I'll take this to my grave, Patriots won because the Atlanta Falcons did the shittiest coaching job in the history of the Super Bowl. You're up 28-3. Play possession football. Run the goddamn ball. Run the clock out. That's all you had to do.
Did y'all ever hear, like, the theory that, like, it was rigged?
I did hear that theory. I think it's bullshit.
Like, because they were, like, talking about, like...
So many people think that the NFL is rigged. Do you know how hard it would be to script an NFL game with the way those guys play? Are you kidding me? No,
like,
it is not scripted.
Like, do you remember when fucking the Broncos won that Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone said it was rigged. I'm like, y'all are just fucking mad.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like,
I mean, I was mad because I fucking hate the Denver Broncos. And I also have neighbors that, like, live across the way from me, and that I had to see that goddamn Denver Broncos flag flying in their front yard for the rest of the year. And I was like, man, I hope they have a shit season next year. And they did. Never saw that flag up once.
See, that's where I stand. Like, I hate when people, just in anything in general, it was rigged. I was like, y'all just don't, man, no. Your team just sucks. As bad as I want to say it.
Yeah.
Like, it happens every year. I watched the Stanley Cup, and every year, the game was rigged. I was like, y'all just don't understand how this works. You can't really rig a hockey puck very well comparatively to a football because they're solid as fuck. But yeah, no. So Braden actually, I got a weird text from Braden. He's like, hey man, I think you should. He's like, you guys should start like your own fantasy football league and play each other. And I'm like, nah, Ray, not too much on my plate. As much as I would love to do that, I don't really feel like getting Ryan talking shit to me even more than he does right now, and it would piss me off even more. So if anyone has ever wondered why I never joined a fantasy football league, it's because I get mad easily at like anything. Like if you see me play Smash Bros, if you see me play Madden, I just walk away.
I mean, I don't play fantasy football just because
it's technical as shit too. Like I just.
It's one of those things like, I mean, not to brag or anything, but I have like the Facebook posts to like prove it from predictions and stuff in the past. I'm very good at diagnosing entire teams. I am not good at diagnosing like,
a player
who's going to be the breakout player this year and like who's going to be the best pick for my fantasy football league.
Yeah, so I mean, we could play like we could just play it for fun with like the Row Bros if they're down for it, but like there's no way I'm posting anything about my losses on a fantasy football league on our page. I'm sorry. I have class. End us out here, man.
All right, that has been the first episode of Let the Fans Talk.
Woo!
This is going to be going on throughout the entire NFL season, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Maybe in the future, if this gets big enough, we'll answer like Facebook questions or Twitter questions that you guys send in.
We might even watch the Super Bowl live. You just never know.
You never know with this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this has been Let the Fans Talk. Have a good day.
Hey, bye.